Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. This actual play contains mature themes and mature scenes. Listener discretion is advised. This actual play uses the Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition rules by Paradox Interactive. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your storyteller. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your storyteller, Michael Diamond. My pronouns are he, him, and we are back with a very special look in on the city of San Francisco with a vampiric vignette for you, our listeners. Just to set the stage for you, it has been about 8 or 9 months or so since the events of Shards of San Francisco, the season 2 finale, and we were returning for a party in an underground bar called Sin, located near the waterfront. At the top of the show, what we'd like to do is thank you, the listener, and especially you, the Patreon supporter. If you've not had a chance to check out what we offer, you can at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast. Jump over to YouTube and subscribe there and catch all sorts of visual fun that our cast members can offer you. And now we're going to begin with introductions. To my right,
this is Tiffany, and I play Alex Giovanni of Clan Hakata, and I'm still independent.
No shock there. No shock there at all. To Alex's right.
Hi, this is Ali, and I play Katarina Bogdanovich of Clan Toreador, and I have been taking... Oh no, I am a Toreador, I'm not a Tremere.
That's fantastic. We're going to keep that. And to Katarina's right.
Hi, this is Rena. I'm playing Lenore Hollow of Clan La Sombra, and I'm a shadow.
And the shadow knows. At the end of the table.
Hi, my name is Tegan, and I'm playing Ram the Shaman of Clan Malkavian.
Fantastic. Nice to have you with us this evening, Ram. To Ram's right.
Hi, this is John. I'll be playing Vince Markovich of Clan Tremere, although my standing with that particular group is now in question and has been for some time. It's been a minute. But, you know, San Francisco's always friendly.
Yeah, absolutely. To Vince's right.
Good evening. I am Rosie of Odd Duck Dice, and tonight I am playing Poppy Abbott. Our pronouns are she, her. Poppy is of Clan Toreador and a member of the circulatory system.
Very interesting. I'm sure we'll know more about that very soon. And for the first time on the Old Ways, the last, but most certainly not least.
Hello there. My name is Mare, and I will be playing Rosita, just a casual little caitiff, new to San Francisco. And I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us, Mare. Okay. So before we go any further, we need to have rouse checks. And so as you wake from your evening slumber in some regard, you'll all roll a single D10 for me and let me know whether you pass or fail. And if you would, do it in introduction order.
Oh, I'm hungry.
Oh, good. So you are a little hungry. Very good.
I also failed, so I'm definitely a little hungry as well.
Excellent.
I passed.
I have rolled a 1.
Oh, good. Nothing has ever gone wrong with you needing to be hungry, has it, Ram?
Never.
I'm also pretty hungry. I could definitely go for a bite to eat.
That worries me for you, Vince, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll see to it.
I passed.
I passed as well.
Wondrous. Okay. So whether by messenger or official invitation or perhaps coded message for some of you, mental imagery for others, you are all invited to a very special event at a underground bar called Sin. So Sin is a club that opens every now and again. It is super exclusive in the mortal world, and it exists to essentially provide 2 to 3 main fares. First and foremost, it is a club scene. So hottest DJs, maybe people who have not played in 5 or 10 or 20 years, old goth bands, singers from bands that you've not heard of in more than a decade play there. That's really like the core part of what Sin is for. It's an exclusive club scene. Secondly, it also caters to several different common kinks within the San Francisco area. And that could be leather or lace or whips or chains. There's all sorts of fun things that can happen at Sin. And they heartily suggest that as long as you're okay with it, you dive right in. 3, it is also cover for the Kindred in the area when it opens to sample specific blood supplies. And so it operates in both the mortal world and in the Kindred world, sort of like on the other edge of the looking glass. It's an invite that's gone out to a certain amount of people, although most of you are not necessarily sure how many people. I say most of you because it's likely that people who are socially more socially powerful in this group of Kindred would have a better idea on things. And so that's probably going to be people like Alex and Katerina, who are plugged in real hard to the social environment here. For the 2 of you, it's likely you figure there could be at maximum 20 Kindred in that place. As far as San Francisco goes, that's not necessarily a large percentage of the population, given Oakland and the places beyond. But you figure that Sin's only going to let in, well, the right clientele. So that is sort of the invitation, I guess, at start. What I'd like to know is if we step through sort of introduction order. I'll start with you, Alex. 2 questions. 1, is it an invitation that they'd take?
Does it say who the invitation was from?
It does not, but the invitation is meticulously crafted. Care and work went into it.
Well, then, yeah, probably, because then it looks like somebody was obviously targeting me.
Okay. And then 2, you are a titch hungry this evening. Mm-hmm. Are you planning on trying to sate some of that before you go?
Yeah, I'll probably stop by and see the kids and do a pickup.
Yeah, the pickup goes as it has most nights when you need it. It's pretty thorough. It's pretty quick. But you don't, not give them the warm and fuzzies that they need to make sure they keep doing their job.
Yeah.
The pats on the head, etc. Okay. We'll have you on your way to Sin. So, Allie, for Katerina, the invitation that comes to the Haven it's well crafted, but there are some giveaways. The person who crafted this invitation clearly aimed it at you rather than Marcus. It does not have his name attached to it at all.
Which in some respects is unusual because there's probably been some sort of established, since there's the former Baron idol that has probably hung around to some extent. And we are a bonded pair. Usually there's a lot of stuff that we do together. But it's nice to be separated every once in a while to do our own things.
So again, would you go?
Oh, in a heartbeat.
Okay. And then for you, you have a slight hunger as well.
Yeah.
So are you preparing to deal with that before going?
Oh yeah, I'm going to the clinic first. Say as much of it as necessary, basically, to go have a good time.
Okay. So this sort of gives me an opportunity to cast my camera on someone we've not talked to in some time. Someone who is likely helping at said clinic, at least a little bit, as was the plan many months ago. So when you slide into the clinic, Katerina, you get back towards the supply, and that's when you run into Vince.
Hello, Vince.
Miss Bogdanovich, hello.
You are looking better, yeah?
Vince is still kind of gray. Literally kind of gray. He's like, well, you know, I'm getting along. I usually when I'm working, I wear foundation, cover this up, but sorry, you kind of caught me, well, a little off guard. Other than that, no, I'm fine. All good here. Just enthusiastic nodding. You can tell that it is entirely a facade. Vince is a very sad little boy.
Yeah.
Vince has been a very sad little boy, but usually is accompanied by by Annalise, and today he has been told no. She has plans of some kind, so he's left to his own devices, more or less.
So have you gotten the invitation to the club?
Yeah, I got the one at Sin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. I was told it would probably be a good idea to go, even if I really, really don't want to. And he like blinks and looks you directly in the eyes, and he's like, I'm just a little bit worried. You know.
About what?
But he's just kind of like, there's a pause as he looks away, and he's like, well, more or less everything. Last I heard, I'm not particularly... The Tremere mostly don't want me to be seen. And I realize Marcus has given me protection and stuff, but that's still... When a small, immortal vampire child tells you that you really need to get out more, you kind of gotta take the hint. So, yeah, no, I know she's right. When did she get a dog?
Oh, ages ago.
See, that's the thing. She doesn't tell me these things. She's just like, I've always had a dog. And I'm like, no, you didn't. I knew you. What? But yeah, no, I'm going. I'm just, I figured I'd go and show my face. I just have a little bit of work to do. But
Well, you are coming with me, yeah? Non-optional.
I think he's used to her tone when she's telling him, you're coming with me. He's just like, yes, Mr. Bogdanovich, that would be fine.
Have you eaten?
No, but I'm okay. I'm not hungry.
Eat.
He's just like smiling weakly. He's just like, there's no need. I'm okay.
If you eat someone on the way home, I will be very upset.
He like puts his left hand over his heart and raises his right, and he's just like, I solemnly swear I will not eat anyone today. I promise I won't eat anyone at all.
Today is the clarifying statement there.
Look, Vince knows he doesn't always get to control this.
No, it's true. Very well. Let's get in the car. Let's go to this.
Okay, well, look, give me a second. I need to go and put on my my face. It helps me blend in if I'm not like this. So I'll just be 10 minutes.
Okay.
He just scuttles off to a side room.
Fantastic. So I'd love to know, because we really haven't gotten a chance to meet them on screen. Eleanor, what is the night like? How do they wake up?
She wakes up in a normal bed in a very small room in the La Sombra party house. She's the newest relative member of the clan, even though it's been 50 years. So she gets the smallest room pretty much everywhere they've ended up. But it's hers, and she's happy in it. And there's already people moving around, already noise, laughing. Someone is playing some very loud emo music somewhere down the hallway. So the kind of chaos she's comfortable in.
Okay. You have been made aware by Jean, as of last night, that there is a party at an ultra-exclusive club. And Jean is wondering if you would accompany her there.
Lenore's eyes just light up about 5 times brighter.
I need to go. I have something to do. I made a commitment to someone, and they asked me to do something while I'm there. But I thought it might be a nice way for you to get involved in some of the more, well, pleasurable activities that we can get up to.
Sounds like a very fun night. I haven't had a night out in quite a bit. I would be very happy to accompany you.
One, do dress up.
Oh, always.
Jean's combat boots sort of walk back down the hallway. So you passed your rouse check, so we don't need to worry about what you might be hungry for. But I guess if you'd let us know how does she dress up?
So she wears very, very tight-fitting leather pants, actual leather, with what's called a poet-style white flowing shirt with those long sleeves and a bit of lace frills, but a black corset over that. Very, very tight black leather corset, very heavy eye makeup and deep purple lipstick, and pulling her hair, which is very long, back up into this sort of elegant coif.
Yeah. You get a nod of approval when you and Jean sort of tuck into one of the La Sombra party house vehicles. Likely something with some pizzazz, like a Jag or other black tinted window 4-door sedan. There's nothing ostentatious per se about it. It's about subtle style. And Jean has mentioned that the agreements and the money that the, quote, old barony has been bringing in has done them well. Okay. You're on your way to Sin, along with a bunch of other folks. And so now, I need to check in on everyone's favorite party boat captain. And so, Ram, if you would, give us an idea about what your reaction would be to learning that there's going to be an exclusive party on or near the waterfront. And you learn this through a network of unseen voices, some of which are trapped inside your head.
I believe I'm grabbing the nearest one of my ghouls, and I'm having them identify where the nearest one of those little Zoomy scooters are. And then several of us are going to take the little electric Zoomy scooters and go to the party. So I'm going to bring myself, I'm going to bring Kisper, and I'm going to bring a random ghoul. You never know when you need one. But yeah, we're going to the party.
I need to know, are you going as Messianic, Ram? What version are you showing up as, just so we can be prepared? How are you dressing? Are you putting clothes on at all?
You asked me if I'm going Messianic, and I was like, well, flip-flops, but that didn't actually answer the question. That actually is either way. Yeah, I got these cute shorts that have like a butt cape that goes down to my ankles as well. And I've got a tank top that has like a vent slit in the back, and it's gray, and it's got like an anchor on it, and then a bunch of roses and skulls.
Fabulous.
And I'm a little worried about my little butt cape getting stuck in the wheels on this scooter, but I'm gonna risk it.
I'm not going to call for a roll just yet, but I do reserve the right as a storyteller to make you roll.
Understood.
So, speaking of folks we have never met on camera before, if you would be so kind, Rosie, to take us through how you would respond to being asked to assist a very important vampiric party, one which is completely exclusive and would give you access to many of the major power players within the current makeup of San Francisco. And you get contacted through a former Camarilla vampire. We'll leave their name to history for now.
Well, Poppy is very happy to be invited. She hasn't been here very long, but this is the entire reason that she is here, to establish a plot for the circulatory system in San Francisco. So she prepares some samples. She's planning on bringing something that will let people do some sampling of the various humors, but also the shades that she cultivates within those humors. So the sour to the bitter, the sweet to the spicy, and the sort of lilac to the rose that she's got going on. She's very good at getting those distinct flavors. So she brings some bottles. They look like wine bottles, essentially a couple of cases of those, some glasses, and she's set up essentially to do something like a tasting flight for different people who might come up and want to see what the circulatory system can offer, should they be able to establish a property in the city. So she's going to go in a sort of... She likes dresses, a sort of light pink sundress. Her red hair is twisted up into a bun on the top of her head. She does a very sort of light makeup, orchid pink lipstick. She brings a couple of her herd, like the closest of her inner circle. They all have floral names. So as whenever you need something, just shout out a flower name and one of them will respond. And they are all attired in similar shades of pink to herself. She is wearing wedge heel sandals of some sort. So it's a casual look, but everything is very expensive. And she is excited to move forward with this.
So you'd be called in a little earlier than the regular doors would open because you have things to prepare. This gives you the first opportunity to see the insides of this place. And it is quite the setup. The side for mortals is sort of basic, actually. At least in its overall structural makeup. There's a dance floor. There's a place where someone could set up a musical or DJ booth, etc. There's a place for the bar. There are a few sort of carved out, almost look like old subway arches for rounder booths for people to be able to have, quieter conversations or perhaps exclusivity. The Kindred side is where all of the money has been spent. There are various wrought iron chandeliers, which have electric lights in them, clearly. There are multiple bars, so there are a smaller bar that they set you up at for the flights and that sort of thing to sort of set you away from the main bar there, which doesn't look like a bar at all. It really looks just like a big table, because clearly nobody's drinking beer on this side, nor are they drinking alcohol, really. There's a lot of open space. There are a few what we would call traditional shadowy corners. And there are also a very similar style of archway that runs along the back wall for maybe 6 or so additional booths. But it's the bar, the big one, that sort of catches your eye. There's something, when you go to move your stuff in and you and your ghouls are working to prepare, there's something on this tape. It's, I don't know, probably about 2 or so meters long. It's probably about 1 meter or so wide, and it's draped in a very heavy, heavy purple blanket or drop cloth. Like from the top of the table all the way to the bottom. And while whatever's on it, the object, doesn't take up the entirety of the table, it does take up quite a bit of it. And you have to walk past it to even get to where you're serving at. There are some staff members who are beginning to place candlesticks nearby. I'll leave you there for the moment. So, Rosita, if we may roll our R's, if that's okay. I'd love to know how someone of your, we'll just say status, would react to being told that there's an exclusive party in town and that they think they can get you in.
So Rosita is very excited at the prospect of going to a real party. So she is been working her way through the city, getting used to it, figuring out where to go, where not to go. But has still lingered among the nightlife of the mortals pretty closely. You know, lingering among the nightlife with other kindred, given all the chaos that's happened. Like showing up after the old party is over and trying to figure out which is the next party to go to. So as she's been making her way through, getting an invitation seems like the first bit of a clue as to the direction the city is going in, and would be the first indication for, okay, here are some names. This will be a good way to figure out what's happening here and to where to hitch my wagon.
Absolutely. It's a little different for someone who doesn't have a clan to call home. That might be, in fact, what sort of drew you up north, is because of the way the city was changing, it gives you an opportunity to work on your own terms. A lot of the stories that you'd heard about the tumultuous nature of what San Francisco was going through, many of the Cam friends that you might have had in the South, or at least have heard from members of Camarillo, they were deeply concerned about what was going on. They were shocked when word came out that a powerful Ventrue elder had been decapitated in response to trying to rule San Francisco. But the trend line after that in the social circles began to talk about weird things that you're not familiar with in vampiric society. Like this idea that vampires could have some sort of, and you even chuckle to think the word equality, but that many of the San Francisco vampires had thrown off those shackles, had pushed the elders and the masters at bay. And that's really what forged that chain for you was, hey, the folks up there think like I do. They don't want to be chained either. And they're not interested in being taken over by the Sabbat. And they've thrown off multiple attempts from, Camarillo elders to, to forge their own path. That could be a fun place. And now you're here and there's an exclusive party you're getting invited to. This might be just what you needed.
So she is very ready to go to and be a part of this party. She is doing her best not to seem overly excited. However, coming from down south, further towards the Tijuana border initially, she has a little bit of flair and gusto to her dress. She enjoys textures within her clothes, so wearing a red velvet dress that cuts to the knees with some lace adornments around the arms. If it sparkles, she wears it. And with her long black hair coiled up atop her head and then spilling down like a waterfall with it, she makes herself look, for being very petite, she makes herself not too ostentatious, but noticeable. Perhaps someone to talk to. Just a little curiosity piece.
Fabulous. So in the next hour or so, many of you enter the door, which is not a door. The one which leads to the space beyond and behind the club. The mortal side is beginning to get revved up. There's a goth band playing, and they're churning through another very heavy set. You can feel the vibrations through the brick. They rattle just very slightly the floorboards here in the back room. The party itself here is The music's a little different. It's more of a down-tempo goth pieces. It gives you a feeling like the night here hasn't even started yet. For staff, there are probably about 15 or so people who work this space. They wear a very unique and specific uniform. So sleeveless black shirts. I'm fairly certain that those are either made of some type of vinyl. They're very shiny. They wear shorts that stop about 2 or 3 inches above the knee. The staff wear bow ties. They're red. And they're all adorned with different gauges of chains that they wear around their wrists and up to the shoulders. So they jingle. That said, the bar, as was mentioned before, is dominated by a very long and wide draped cloth. There are a couple of staff that stand nearby it, and they're also assisting folks with drinks. And so what I'll say is all of the current characters in play can likely see that others are here as well. So you may mingle and mix at your leisure.
I think when he sees Alex is there, Vince is going to... there's a timid little hand raise, and it kind of shakes left and right. And it's not even like a full wave. It's more like his index and middle fingers raise, and it almost looks like he's someone from a religious painting. He's just like... just waves a little weak little soy boy wave.
Alex will probably raise their hand and like beckon you over to their table.
Yeah, he very demurely comes over and he's just like, "Hello, Alex. How's I'm sorry I didn't reach out sooner, but I've been trying to get better."
It's good. You have somebody helping you get better?
He's kind of like Vanessa's kid. She told me about some things that happened while I was asleep, and it sounds like she's really been through it too. So I don't know who. I didn't really get to know.
Don't say her name.
He nods. He's like, I didn't get to know her, but he just looks Alex dead in the eye. He's like, they sounded very nice.
Yeah. Better than that little girl. Better than she deserved.
She's been helping me, so she's changed through the things that happened.
Yeah.
I know that doesn't help, but...
No.
He just gives a little nod.
So... You, never wanted to come by. I mean... I'm just...
He like actually sits down at the table and he like puts his head in his hands. He's just like, and you get to see that the pale skin tone up in the top of his temple gets smudged a little bit. He's just like, I didn't want you to have to look at me and what I am and all the things I've done and the shame.
You did that to save us, though. What you became made sure I didn't become that. Like, don't downplay what you did. It's not a punishment. You saved us.
He's just like, yeah, I know. I keep telling myself that, but it doesn't make it any easier.
No.
I'd do it all again. No regrets, right? Just, it turns out, at least not everyone wants to kill me right now, so that's good, right? That's a plus.
Nobody should want to kill you. And if they do, you let me know.
I just, you know what the clan is like. He makes a face that can only be described as confused revulsion.
Well, considering you're not really part of the Camarilla right now, they're not going to like you anyways.
That's true.
Just make sure you stay protected, and I will help. If you want to, sit at my table. I'm sure more people will come. We will hear some wonderful things.
Yes, I will sit here and reminisce with my friend. And we will watch the people as they come and go.
Yes, and we will make stories.
Oh boy.
So, Lenore, you and Jean Valentine walk into Sin together. Not the exact way you were thinking it would happen, but here you are. It looks like all sorts of fun, to be perfectly honest. This looks like a really cool place, and there are some people you've heard about are here.
Looking around, making mental inventory of who all's here, who got invited, maybe who could have snuck in, if anyone. New people I haven't seen before.
Yeah, there's definitely a couple of new people here. You don't know who the person behind the short bar is in the pink dress and red hair. You've never seen them before.
So I will drift over there and very much enjoying the atmosphere. This is very much my kind of place. But she looks a little bit different from the atmosphere around here.
Oh, yes.
And that piques my interest.
Okay. Have at it.
Hello. Haven't seen you around before.
Oh, I haven't been here long. I'm just here, to offer a sampling of what my organization has to offer. What's your pleasure?
Oh. We've only just met. Haven't even gotten names yet.
Poppy.
Lenore. So what do you offer?
Well, I have a sampling of sanguine. I've got a variety of phlegmatics, some melancholia if you're looking for something a little bitter. I've got some choleric if you're looking for some salty. I've got some that has a little chocolate flavor happening in there. There's flights of dimension within those 4 categories. So really, whatever you're looking for.
I'll take some sanguine, darling.
And she sets out a flight of 5 small wine glasses for you that range from sort of sweet to spicy. All the way at the one end is something almost hot. And then at the other is something almost like nectar. You might think it's has a sort of light honey tone to it. And she sort of walks you through which one to have first as the flavors deepen.
Lenore takes each one and kind of rolls it on her tongue a little bit, just sort of enjoying the aromas and the mouthfeel. Interesting notes you've gotten in here.
Why, thank you. Do any of them particularly appeal to you? We are always interested in working with our customer base.
I do enjoy the spicier side of things.
Oh, well, may I suggest you try a glass of, and then produces bottle with a label that has someone's name on it, and offers you a larger wine glass and says, "Tell me when."
She'll let you fill it about a quarter of the way.
Does so and passes it over. It says, "It was lovely to meet you, Lenore. Is this the normal party spot for the city?"
Normal is rather relative, you'll find around here. Certainly one of the more exclusive ones. And she's saying this as if she comes here all the time.
I mean, Poppy knows no different, so that's fine.
Well, I shall keep you and your delightful beverages in mind, Poppy. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Lovely to meet you as well, Lenore. Have a lovely night.
And it happens. Ram, the shaman, arrives. The music changes, just inexplicably. There's a beach, like a lo-fi beach vibe that hits this club. It's totally out of range. It doesn't make any sense. The person running the music is trying to fix it.
At the table. Oh, I think Ram just walked in.
Oh. you want to go get him?
You know, I feel like Ram will find his way here. It just happens, right?
Yes, it does.
Hey guys.
Ram, is that a butt cape?
It's like an open skirt with shorts in the front.
So it's like a skirt, but torn? Vince looks very confused.
It's fashionable beachwear is what it is. How are you?
I thought I was only buried for like a few months.
It felt like forever, honestly.
Rubs their forearm.
How are you doing? You look good.
There's a little smudge where the gray skin is showing. He's just like, well, I'm doing pretty okay. Taking it a day at a time, you know what I mean?
Are you enjoying the communist utopia that we have built for ourselves?
Thinks about what he's heard and what he's seen. I feel like it's an improvement, sure, over what was there.
I mean, it seemed like a natural progression, reorganizing the various castes of vampire society into their own individual Soviets, and then building some sort of council, and then placing Michael at the top. I'm sorry, crap.
Marcus.
And then placing Marcus at the top. And a couple others.
I mean, Michael was right if you were talking about the angel of Michael.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about it, and I've heard there have been some misunderstandings in the first few weeks, but I heard things are a lot more stable now, so that's always a positive. A lot less vampires dying.
Well, thanks to you, of course.
But yeah, I mean...
Humble Vince.
I mean, just remember, it only works once. If you get a reinfection, it doesn't... I mean, you know this, but... So you still have to be careful.
Yeah, and that's why, motioning to Casper and the ghoul, I now only drink from my own stock. I keep a private cellar on my ship.
Yeah, that's great. Ram, I'm really sorry that I missed your party.
And then, my face is just going to completely change. It's like 3 layers of masks just dropped. And I'm just going to put my hand on your shoulder, and I'm going to be like, I really appreciate that. That actually means a lot.
Stuff came up, but it was for the best.
Who's some of the new people? There's people I don't know. Do you know them? Wait, why would you know them? You've been in a pit.
He just gives you a weak little shrug.
You've been in a pit. I completely ignore you, immediately do a right-faced turn to Alex. Who are the new people?
Let's see. Have I heard anything yet about them, Mike?
I would be remiss, though, if I didn't mention, given just the sort of the business that Poppy is in, it's more than likely that you would have at least heard of Poppy because of her talents. That she specifically works in blood supply. You might not know anything else in depth, but you'd certainly know that she's a professional.
Okay.
By reputation.
That one is does blood supply. Still don't trust it. This is probably the wrong city to be peddling that kind of stuff in after what happened. But they're supposed to be professionals. The other one I would assume is unimportant because I don't even know her name.
But there's a blood supply person. I guess if there's going to be a hole in the market, someone's going to fill it. I mean, a hole in the requisitional silo. I'm so sorry. My father was a dirty capitalist. Still is a dirty capitalist. All right. Well, what are you doing? What are you here all about?
Me?
What you doing? Yeah, what you up to?
Looking great.
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
And then waiting to figure out why I was invited here, considering I didn't have a table with my name on it.
Oh, well. I mean, I always assumed you just walked in and claimed the table as yours. It's your domain. It's your birthright.
I did this time, but if they really want me to stay someplace, I would have my own table.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if there's going to be some sort of announcement then. I guess we should sit around and find out.
I don't know. Last time we did that, there was some drama with the prince of the city, if you remember.
Yeah, but then we had several other very productive meetings.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. The formation of some sort of new galactic council of San Francisco and...
Yeah, if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think I'm still technically holding the position of secretary general of secretary of the organization here. So I think somebody does start talking. Casper, do you have a notepad?
Master I have been vampire for 9 months now. When are you going to stop having me take your notes?
Give it here. Okay, good. I just want to make sure if we're gonna do official business that I'll have to take notes. I don't want anyone else to take the position. Ever since I assumed it, I wanted to hold it. So, all right.
So, Ram, you'd notice, along with many of the other folks who are sitting here, that the staff is moving towards the door, just a couple at a time. And they're sort of ushering in a couple people. And then it's at that point where they pull on 2 sort of enormous chains. They almost look like ones you would see at in a maritime setting. And you feel these chains, you feel them through the floorboards as they move. And there's a dull thump at the end. And they sort of set the chains into these hooks in the wall. A member of staff comes out, dressed a little differently than the rest of the folks. Same regular sort of tuxedo shirt that's sleeveless. This person's wearing full pants. They must be in charge. And no jingly chains on them at this point. They have a wonderful, beautiful gold bow tie. They step over to your table, Alex.
I will look up.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Is there anything we can get you specifically?
Oh, well. Ram, do you need anything? Vince?
No, I'm perfectly content to watch.
Yeah, you are.
He takes out a small black bifold, almost looks like a little menu, and he sets it on the table. These are the services that are provided and or allowed should you decide to dine with us this evening. What you all see there on the list is essentially a kink menu list of like all the various things that the club offers. And they're clearly kindred related. So it's not just like feeding potential, right? But it's also having a space to work out the things that you have needed to work out for some time. Any pleasures, etc. There are also services in case your, meal doesn't survive all the way until the final course. They have effectively cleanup services. But it's a fairly thorough menu. The prices are not astronomical by any means, at least for you, Alex. Vince, the price list scares the fuck out of you.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to hold this.
Why?
Looking at it makes me... he just says that aloud and he's like, I feel like, this is one, I don't know what half the terms mean. And 2, I can't afford any of this.
Alex pulls out a roll of bills and sets it in front of him. If you want to find out what they mean, you can.
We are happy to help you step through the menu if you'd like.
But I would suggest being careful because of your issues.
You'd break a tooth doing that one specifically.
Yeah, I like the idea that Ram's just leaned over his shoulder as he's looking at something. He's like, oh wow. I'll think about it. And he just gives this polite, weak little smile. He's like, yeah, I'll think about it. We'll see how the night goes. He's like, holds up both hands. I promise I'll keep an open mind, but that's about the most I can do.
Fair enough. You, sir. He gestures with the menu to you, Ram.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, those must have been expensive. That's a custom order. We feeling leather tonight, Casper? We feeling leather tonight?
I personally am feeling leather every night.
Okay, yeah, we're feeling leather tonight. You want to check out? You want to see what they're doing with leather these days?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I mean, I always know that you're DTW. Down to watch leather.
I'm not a watcher, but if you are inviting me, I will go with you.
I'm inviting you and your deep pocketbooks. So we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna do number 7B.
An excellent choice. He closes the book. The room will be ready in about 15 minutes.
Okay. You know, Ram, I have a room for this, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's better when it's someone else's room.
It's true. I don't have to clean.
Yeah, I'm right with you.
Given all of this, I wonder, Katerina, what you're investigating, inspecting, enjoying while the spectacle at Sin continues.
Realistically, I'm just here to be part of the atmosphere. I'm not really planning on indulging from the menu. I'm also waiting to see if I'm approached for a particular reason of why I was specifically invited. Because most people who have met me in person kind of know that this isn't really the kind of place I would frequent.
The club is not really your speed. Although you are likely at least slightly intrigued by the blood sample. Given your previous line of work, and in some ways current line of work.
But, after everything that happened and having, a bunch of people die on my watch, I'm not really sure that I'm that invested in, flavorings right now.
People dying on your watch is such a wonderfully neutral way to put that. Okay. So from one of these rooms in the back, a well-known gentleman's a stretch, steps out into Sin, and that's one Marcus Voss. Strides through some of the bar area before coming by to see you, Vince.
Oh, hey.
Vince, Alex, Rom.
Hey, how's it going, boss?
Goes.
Yeah, but that's the same for everybody, huh? Some things don't change even when you die.
Did you see the box? He sort of points over his shoulder back at the bar.
Vince looks at it and looks at Marcus. He's like, I won't lie. I have no idea what the fuck that box is, and I probably don't want to know what that box is because it's either a weird swinger thing or a weird vampire thing, and I'm not sure which is worse right now.
I don't think it's a swinger thing.
Maybe it's a raffle?
I think so. Maybe of sorts. It was supposedly a gift that got dropped off.
From who dropped it off?
An international courier. It's been making its way from overseas here for the past few months, evidently. It's from Turkey. Came with a note. Marcus takes a small parchment piece out of his pocket. It says, if I'm reading this Cyrillic right, it's compliments of one of the elder houses for the extinguishing of one William Mallet.
I mean, I guess that's for you, right? I mean, you were the one that took care of that.
I kind of think we all helped in some regard, some more than others.
I mean, killing William Mallet probably does get you a real gift, right? Not like a poison chalice. He had enough enemies that I think it's probably a real gift, right?
Maybe.
Well, if it comes from the Ventru, it's probably poison.
I don't think it's a Ventru gift.
Yeah, he's a turkey, and the Ventru are all, well...
Vampires are everywhere, Vince.
Well, no, I know, but Ventru are really, like, Romanish, right? That's their thing?
Not if you get called overseas.
I've seen what's under the blanket, and I thought maybe some of my fellow kindred might be interested in the puzzle.
All right. You got me interested.
Vince has watched the movie Hellraiser, and he's just like, now when you say puzzle...
Hey, Rom.
Yes.
You might have to go touch a box.
Oh, nice. All right, cool. I have and reaches into his pocket and pulls out a freaking box cutter.
What? Do you have that?
Vince, you don't have a box cutter? Here, have a box cutter.
No,
this one's yours now. This is yours.
It's really not that simple.
Let's go look at the box.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you want me to do some blood magic? Have a look at it, see what it does. Or if it does anything.
Let's look at it first. What's in it? Or what's on it?
Okay. Marcus turns around and walks back over towards the bar. As he does, he looks at you, Katerina, and with a sort of playful grin nods towards where he's headed to.
Oh yeah, that's a guaranteed follow.
He begins taking some of these candle holders that are off around the table, carefully as they are lit, places them at a distance. And then he grabs hold of this purple blanket tarp and pulls it off. One fell rip. Underneath is a box, but it is made of a wondrous white material. It's stone, maybe? It's got inlaid art all on the sides. Looks like it's been chiseled in. It looks like something truly ancient. It's got different iconography and scenes that have been chiseled into it. He runs his hand just very lightly, not touching it, but just lightly over the top of it. And this is clear enough for everyone within the area of Sin to see. This is impossible to hide.
You're just going to hear the sound of like a box cutter retracting, sadly.
So is this more like a box or a coffin?
This is, well, more in the shape of a coffin. So this is rectangular, not square.
The fact that it's shaped like a coffin is very, very typical for these stupid fucking vampires. Vince has still been vampire for only long enough to be like, occasionally be like, fucking vampires. Jesus Christ. Mike, I would like to try and activate my sense the unseen power. Yeah, there's no cost. It's free.
Oh, wonderful.
Basically, it's to tell me if it's supernatural.
So is the box supernatural or the contents? That's my question. Does it show you the difference between the two, or is it?
If there's something supernatural hiding in plain sight, I must roll Resolve in Aspects, and you must also roll... Sorry, give me a second. I'll read it to you verbatim.
Please do.
Whenever there's something supernatural hiding in plain sight, the storyteller makes a hidden roll of wits plus aspects against a difficulty.
I will make a hidden roll.
Oh.
Interesting. All right. So now you'd have to make an aspects roll?
Yeah, I think just to see through the veil.
Give us a roll, young Vince.
Oh boy. I'm gonna roll something fierce. Plus my hunger die. All right, I got 3 successes.
Okay, so just to refresh everybody in case, we really want to pay attention to what the hunger dies roll.
Yeah, the hunger die only rolled a 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
I was like, no, it's not a 1 or a 10.
Especially you, Vince. I'm very careful about you. No.
I'm not the one who's the San Francisco crawler.
That's true. I would just say that your results are, much like the Magic 8 Ball this time, inconclusive. You are unsure.
He looks at Alex. He's like, doesn't look magic to me, but I mean, I've just recently learned that there's more than just vampire wizards. So I mean, like just a shrug.
Well, it looks old, and I really don't have the patience for another elder to come rolling through this city. So, unless you know who is in here, Marcus, I'm not interested.
Fair enough. You're more than welcome to walk away if that's what you want. I just thought it would be interesting.
What? To pop it open?
Figure out what's inside of it? I mean, what's in the box?
What's in the box? Vince whispers as he pushes the lid.
The lid doesn't budge.
Oh. He's like, well, that was,
What should I roll to, decipher the scenes that are on it? Like, where they're from or what they're showing?
That is a really great question. So I think you could do this a couple of different ways. You could do this through academics, right? You could potentially do this through a cult. I think that you have sort of one of two pathways. And I would just say int academics is going to give you some information because you're going to be looking at it from more of a historical literary sense. A cult would give you probably we'll just say a flavoring of the type of information you might get. So you can really only make one to start. So I would say pick one.
I have more occult dice, so I'll use that.
Go for it.
So 3 successes?
Okay. Historically speaking, just studying some of the things that you have seen in the past, you have a fairly vast amount of historical knowledge, especially given what you research and the things, the entities and people that you talk to. This is pre-Byzantine. So it's not just old. It's fucking old. And it's probably some type of burial coffin. It's not short enough to be like a box or a chest that someone might have as sort of an accompaniment to their burial. To you, this screams there's a body in here. What that body is, you don't know.
I think it's a trap.
You think everything's a trap.
Okay, but this coffin is really old, and it is definitely body-sized. So unless somebody's just sending us dust that somebody else turned into that we're all going to snort, this is a really old vampire that's going to wake up and eat everybody in this club.
Marcus sort of, when you say snort, half moves his hand to show the stop signal to Rom. Because he can feel the energy just coming at him from the side view.
And me thinking everything is a trap has kept me alive this long. Unalive.
No question. Okay. Anybody else got any ideas? Anybody? So you hear Marcus raise his voice, and it sort of echoes back across the playlist that is now running because the DJ couldn't figure out how to stop the beach music, and so they just put on like a Spotify list. He's looking at his equipment, and
are they just like random Spotify ads?
No, he's premium. He's past the whole ad thing.
Though she has no input into this, Rosita has slowly, over the course of everyone circling around this, weaved her tiny body through the crowd until she's just standing somewhere probably entirely too close to Marcus, but is just now suddenly there.
You probably elicit a turn from Marcus just to see that you're there within that sort of bubble space.
She would just smile back and then look back at the box and to the others.
Alex glances at her, raises an eyebrow, looks at Marcus.
Yes?
That yours?
She's new.
Oh.
But she's not mine. He turns to you, Rosita. Do you perhaps mind introducing yourself?
Oh, Hi, I'm Rosita. I'm new. And I just, enjoying the party. The music is nice. And, yes, so is it someone's birthday? Fox?
Shit, Brom, is it your birthday?
My birthday? But like which one? The first birthday or like the...
I don't know. It was a joke.
Oh.
Rosita laughs, has too much like, oh, that's so funny. Oh my goodness. You're funny.
Alex is trying to like not physically recoil. Like, ugh.
It's important to meet new people, especially people who are among us in the city. But no, it is not my birthday. But I do seem to have been given a present. And seeing as that I'm not some all-powerful wizard steeped in ancient lore, I thought I would ask the two people who know more about those subjects than I do. One of them seemingly thinks it's a body. Any other input?
Wait, so did you invite us to this party to ask us about the box?
It was like your invitation alone was like $2,000.
As it should be.
You don't exactly, we don't talk as much as we used to. You don't come around, and I thought a nice veiled invitation would be a way to get you out of your place.
Fair.
As the whole social dynamic has been going on, Vince has been running his hands, like just the tips of his fingers, the most sensitive parts, along the edge. He's trying to find if there's any mechanism or seams, and he's just barely touching this long, strange, white stone box.
Well, if the box could have some sort of feeling about it, I'm sure I would describe it. But since it's an inanimate piece of stonework, I will tell you, though, is that it doesn't feel like... you're expecting this to feel like marble.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You don't get that feeling from it.
Yeah, and that makes him kind of frown. He's like, okay, that's not made of what I thought it was. Mike, I'd like to investigate the box further.
Wouldn't we all? All right, so...
I would like to literally use my investigation skill.
Literally. Okay.
Would a streetwise skill be helpful at all within this? Not so much.
I don't know. Actually, I think...
Is there graffiti on it?
I think it could. You could roll streetwise if you'd like. You'd have to impress me with the roll because I think there's an angle potentially there.
Okay.
So go ahead.
Do you want streetwise and something else? Wits and streetwise?
I think probably wits, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to point out that I have larceny, breaking and entering. So can I figure out how to break into this box?
You probably could. Okay, we'll set aside a chain of actions that's going to begin to happen. So, Mare, if you would, for Rosita, just go ahead and make the roll, and then we'll get to Vince.
She has 3 successes for wits and streetwise.
So the feel of this box, as you sort of touch it with just the lightest bit of your fingertips, just nobody's really looking at you doing this, so you're probably fine. You have felt a material like this before. It reminds you of some of the jewelry that the family, back where you're from, would craft things out of. This feels like ivory.
Huh. I wonder if it's elephant or rhino. It's ivory, like keys on a piano.
All right, Vince.
But this...
Maybe it was a big elephant.
All right, Mike. I only rolled a 2 on my hunger dice. Sorry, buddy. I was really close to getting a messy critical. But I did get 7 successes.
Sheesh. Okay.
Yeah, 3 crits. Sorry. 3 zeros.
So I'll give you a couple of things because I think that's only fair. The relative weight of this box, if it's made out of some combination of either ivory or other stone, because you're not necessarily certain that the entire thing is made of ivory, but maybe the lid is. it probably weighs in excess of several thousand pounds. It does not appear to have any significant cracks along the sides or the base, and the lid has no give. Furthermore, there is a material, a likely once slick material, but is now, of course, dried with age, that sort of rims the outside of this seal of the box. And its consistency reminds you of some alchemical material that you have seen in sorcery rituals. And so it's possible, and very likely in your mind, that the box is hermetically sealed for a specific purpose.
He's basically saying all this out loud.
Wait, so this was magically sealed and we want to bust it open?
Yeah, more or less. Well, I want to put a hole in it and see what's in it, if nothing else.
Before you do that, Poppy sort of looks over from where she's been serving drinks and says, "Why don't you just put it through an x-ray first?"
Bring it to the clinic, I guess, but...
It's not exactly the easiest thing to move, you understand.
Yeah, I thought you'd have been pretty okay with it, to be honest. But yeah, no, I understand.
If you're looking at releasing some kind of monstrosity, it might be worth moving. Or, I know that you can get those apps on your phones now, or doctors can at least, to do that via your phone. But it's just a suggestion because I am here and I really don't want to die.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I'm going to try and rouse my blood, Mike.
Okay.
Vince takes a glass, just makes a cut on his thigh, and he's pulled down his jeans to do this, I guess. He's basically just going to fill a glass with his own Vitae, and Grog gets his striped boxers, and I get another hunger die. Hoo hoo hoo. The plan is to make the Vitae corrosive, so that it will become highly corrosive to dead substances, able to corrode most items down to steaming sludge, give it enough time and bloodshed.
Okay, so you cut yourself.
Yep. As I say, he takes the glass and goes into the bathroom.
Okay.
Comes back later. He's like, alrighty.
You should come back later with essentially a cup of acidic something.
Yes. It's still red like blood, but, it's just gently fuming like a strong acid. But yeah, he dips his finger in it and starts rubbing it along that seam that you mentioned, the seal.
Mm-hmm.
It's non-corrosive to living tissue, so I'm fine. But, well, sorry, not living tissue, but you know what I mean.
So you apply a few dabs. You begin sort of that process. So for you, Alex, if you'd like to make, a larceny roll, I think that's totally within your purview.
Yeah, what am I going to use? Int larceny?
Yeah, probably.
I got 2.
Okay. So a couple of things. If you really want to open this up, what you need are effectively a couple of fairly heavy pry bars. Given your experience with the more physical portions of the things that Marcus could do, once this seal is broken, he likely could lift the entire lid himself, just based on what you know, and judging the weight of the box. Whether it's safe is a totally separate question.
Right. I have potence too, I think. So I could probably, do I think I could move it, or we have to break the seal first?
You think it's much more likely you'll have to break the seal first?
Okay. Yeah, I'll let Vince do his thing and see where that gets us.
The night Chicago died, as he goes around the edge.
So yeah, so you're humming along and you're sort of rubbing the box with your finger and working the fluid inside the grooves, and you begin to see some of that material, I guess, get a little bit worn out and sort of sticky again, and you can pull at it along there and begin to remove it.
Vince is he's happy to have a project. He hasn't had something to distract him other than a sick human for quite some time. And this is a nice thing. He can just work on it and not worry too much about consequences. And I mean, he's surrounded by some of the most powerful vampires in San Francisco. It'll be fine.
You hear one of the staff members approach you, Ram.
Oh, hi.
Your room is ready, sir.
Oh, fantastic. Is there like a time limit? Alex,
No.
there's a okay, because there's like a bone box. Oh, we should have brought a bone saw. Perfect, fantastic. Be there in just a minute.
Of course. You see a couple people who you'd not seen before. They're not staff members, but they are walking back to where it looked like this staff member is going to direct you. They're wearing an awful lot of leather, including leather masks and all sorts of, we'll just say, accoutrement.
Alex, look what they got strapped to their legs. Look at them. There's like 3 of them.
Yeah, there's more important things going on, though, Rom.
Oh, okay, fine. Box. Got it, box. I gotta get the box open. Fine.
Vince, you continue your work.
I'm diligent, if nothing else.
Marcus steps over to the bar, Poppy.
Good evening. What is your pleasure?
I think something cleric will do just fine.
She lays out a flight of cleric and suggests the drinking order for sort of bitter chocolatey notes to salty chocolatey notes, all the way down to something sort of sea salty.
Marcus carefully samples what you have. He seems to investigate it both visually and through olfactory. You can probably tell that this is someone who's looked at an awful lot of blood. He seems to almost distrust it at first.
I know that your city has recently dealt with some issues with their blood supply, and I thank you for the invitation to this gathering. But I assure you, I know what I'm doing.
I don't doubt your professionalism. I wouldn't have invited you had I. That said, you'll forgive me if most of us here are a little cautious, especially after seeing fellow kindred burn from the inside out.
I had heard, and it was very unfortunate.
That's one way to put it. He tests a few of them. You can almost see him getting energized in his own way. And it seems you have a happy customer. The city could use someone of your talents here.
That's lovely to hear. I was told by my organization to sort of put feelers out and maybe consider if there's a property around that we could invest in. But of course, we wouldn't waste the money if we're not wanted.
No, that would make sense. Really, part of the way San Francisco has to operate has changed, but the supply that keeps everyone going has to be attended to, and there has to be trust in it.
Yes.
All right. I'll see what I can do about securing you a property to work from.
Oh, I don't need your help securing a property. I simply... Backing would be helpful. You seem to be a trusted individual.
You could say that. You'll have to have the union's blessing to buy any property within the Chase or within the greater San Francisco or Oakland area. So that's sort of what I mean by help.
Well, in that case, thank you.
As long as you run an honest business, we'll be right as rain.
Delightful. I see you were a fan of the pulls out bottle with matching name, pours you a larger glass, hands it over and says, enjoy.
Thank you. He heads back over towards the box. Vince, you're about halfway through at this point. Music has finally corrected itself from whenever Ram came in. It's been turned off the Spotify playlist, and people are beginning to sort of mingle, those of you who are not at the box itself. But it is beginning to draw an awful lot of attention.
Just keep on going. Just keep on. not sure if I'm going to have enough to get through it. Oh, jeez. Just keeps on applying it, stripping out the gunk that's from when the acidic reaction takes place. He's just like, ugh. Look, I'm comparing this to removing bituminous roof tar from slates.
Yeah. It's probably very accurate. Once the sort of adhesive that was used to keep the box and the lid together gets reactive again, it's like taking tar off something. Alex, you hear a voice nearby. It's not one you're familiar with, but it's also not one present. It's like something is tapping you on the shoulder. This is probably something that you feel too, Lenore.
A physical feeling?
No, like a spiritual or ephemeral feeling.
Yeah, but it's not Luther, right? You said?
It is not.
Okay. I will look around.
I want to activate Oblivion's Sight to see if there are any spirits or ghosts or anything of the sort in the room. It's a free cost, so I don't need to do anything.
Okay.
My eyes just turn black.
You get spooky.
Ooh.
Alex, is that something you're going to also do?
Yeah.
So over the box is a cloud. It sort of rests in a dark yet luminous state at the same time. It's as if there's a light within this dark cloud that rests on top of the box. It just sort of hovers there. And you can hear whispers coming from inside that form.
Can we understand what the whispers are saying?
That depends on the languages that you speak.
Probably not. I speak Spanish.
I don't even know if Alex has any languages. No.
Okay. You hear it. You begin to hear it clearer. There is something talking in that cloud. Given both of your experiences with beings beyond the shroud, it's likely that there's some sort of spirit in this room now.
Marcus?
He steps back over with a glass of wine in his hand.
There's a spirit here, over the box.
Really? He probably reflexively looks at Alex. What kind of spirit?
Speaking a language we don't know, so it's probably something old from this box.
Interesting. He looks almost excited. You gotta wonder, right? Who sent it? What's in it? Vince, are you almost done?
Almost there. Just this one little bit. It's gonna cut. Oh, there we go.
You should be able to move the lid now, Marcus.
Okay. That's something we're all ready for. He sort of clasps two strong hands on the side of this box.
Probably as ready as we'll be.
Yes.
Okay. He digs his fingers sort of into the crevices on either side of the box, the lip, and pulls. And for a moment, it's like the box top doesn't want to give way. And then it all comes off in one sweeping action. And from inside the box, there is a cloud of grayish sort of dust, fine dust, that kicks up into the air.
Good thing we don't breathe, because I don't breathe it in.
The box lid gets set down against the wall, and Marcus turns back towards it. A voice comes from within the box, but you don't see anything move. It's speaking in what is as close to an older form of Russian as you know. At least that's what it sounds like.
How much of that do I understand?
Probably more than just a little bit. It seems to be recounting something. You begin to sort of articulate your brain into that language, and you start hearing the voice tell like a genealogical tale of its past. The family, this person, is related to this person. It's very formal and it's slow. And you realize that the names it's recounting are likely families that have not existed for hundreds of years.
Well, if it wasn't clear that this is old, sure is now. It's a family tree.
Okay, what kind of family tree?
I don't know. Most of what it's saying is names. This person was born to this person who is married to this person who bore these children. And I can give you family names, but none of them are ones that I recognize. They all sound from the old world.
Lenore, with your sight still up, you see a spiritual form sit up in the box.
Sitting up, full spirit there.
Something you see as well, Alex. It's probably a little over 5.5 feet tall. It's dark, well-defined on the other side of the shroud. And it steps out of the box completely in regalia that is 1,000+ years old. It's dressed in a very simple tunic, belt, boots. It has sort of a widow's peak as far as its hair. It's long, dark hair, very straight, pulled back into a single ponytail that rests. And it stands and almost stretches, which is sort of strange to see on the shroud. For those of us in the physical and still paying attention to it, 2 hands come out of the smoke and of the dust and grab the side of the box. They are dark, tanned dark skin, and a form sits up. It's dressed very similarly in ancient garb, not all of which has been chewed through. They have a very sort of hawkish nose. They are not at all handsome by modern standards. It appears to be a male figure. Its fingernails are excessively long and dark. Its teeth are white and well maintained.
Vince's first thought is, oh no, they heard we balkanized the city, and now they sent someone from the Balkans to us.
Oh, look, it's my people.
Rosita leans over to Marcus.
Do we know him? Is he, like, famous?
Marcus shakes his head. I don't know who this is.
Well, happy birthday.
It's your dad, Marcus.
My father's dead. David is gone. This is certainly not David.
Who's it, like Charlemagne of the Franks? Like,
I don't think he's French. The figure has not said a word. It just carefully panning around the room and the space.
Rosita waves.
So can I ask it in broken Russian if it has a name? Probably won't understand me, but one can always try, right?
It tilts its head and turns towards you, Katerina. It sits up more fully and completely, and you see the figure extend a leg out from this box, and then a second. When it drops to the floor, you can see it's a little shaky.
Is the spirit still separate from it?
So when it steps out from the box, you see the 2 figures standing side by side. They look very similar, although not exact. And it's at that point that the spirit steps into the same plane as the figure. And you watch this spirit meld into the flesh of this person.
They don't normally do that.
Marcus looks at you. Do what?
The spirit melded back with the body. They were separate and now they're together.
Unless it's a possession.
Maybe he was astral projecting?
You wouldn't see a spirit like that, though.
Okay.
So I'm actually ignoring, like, the chatter around me. Because, like, this thing was speaking, like, the spirit with all the family that it uttered, it was speaking Russian.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask it in Russian which family it belongs to.
It turns, like physically turns, and says in Russian, "My name is Dmitri, and the only family I have are my Banu Hakim."
Those are bedtime stories.
You get the creepiest sneer from his face.
Would we have heard that particular term at least? Unless there's an equivalent in Russian, I don't know.
So that's not Russian at all.
No.
That is also something you would have heard of because Jean is a wonderful teacher. Likely does not leave House Lasombra uneducated. So Banu Hakim is a clan of Kindred. And they're very well known. And some of you already probably know them by their former name in previous editions of Vampire. I would say it would be unlikely for maybe say anybody except Vince and maybe Rom, given his upbringing, would know what the clan is like. At least even in legend. Clearly, Alex, you have had probably not experiences with them, but you know about them.
That is what
and you know
it's
what
for.
they do. You just don't know why this dude's here.
Anybody order a hitman?
That seems like a very nice gift.
I wonder if it was originally sent to use against Mallet. That maybe whoever sent it thought we might need help.
Vince leans into Ram and he's just, because I think they've kind of both fallen to the back a little bit somehow. Do you know what they're talking about?
No.
Yeah, I'm just like, that guy's just an old vampire. They're scary anyway, right?
Well, he's old and he's Russian. Did they always have Russians all the way back that far? It could be like a Muscovite.
A Muscovite is just a Russian from Moscow.
A member of the Golden Horde. I don't know. All of my regional geography comes from video games.
It's like, I don't think he's one of the Rus. I think he might be from a little further south. I don't know, man. Look, should we get ready to leave? He's like, should we be here?
I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and just start backing into a corner near the door. That has always worked for me.
The door, which you remember, is shut and latched.
Oh, yeah, the chains.
Marcus walks around the coffin and stands at the foot of it, looking at Dmitri. Do you know why you're here? I can't imagine you get mail or cell signal inside that thing. Dmitri doesn't really respond. He doesn't even pick up the question, it seems like. He doesn't have a bodily reaction to it. He continues to look at Katerina. He says to you in a form of Russian which you can understand. His eyes narrow. It is my understanding that you have committed acts of diablerie.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, so it's a hit for me. I'm so happy with that.
Oh, thank God.
If Vince hears the word diablerie, he's like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Alex is trying really hard not to cackle out loud.
Well, the tough part for everybody else who doesn't speak Russian is you hear a bunch of Russian and then you hear diablerie.
Yeah, and that's why I think Vince is so fucking scared. He's the only person he knows that did diablerie.
Yeah, there's very few people that actually know that Katerina has performed diablerie twice over. So,
yeah, given the Toreador disciplines, though, you would be aware that, well, your aura can be a little black and veiny.
yeah.
And so really anybody who needs to confirm that is a Auspex roll away from being able to do it.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're going to get into some old Tremere rituals, carry around kids' toys and stuff like that. We're not here for that, though.
No.
I do have that Auspex.
Mm-hmm. So I would say that you are correct. Only, as far as you know, only so many people know about it. But without being able to check everybody else around you, really anytime you go into Kindred Public, you sort of risk that being revealed.
Right. So, do I need to make a composure roll for this?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's okay. My composure's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Hey, you know what? I got 3 successes.
That's good. You contain yourself as best as you possibly can. Dimitri doesn't move, per se, but he does adjust the way his shoulders are resting. And you can begin to feel that sense in the air. Most of you can begin to feel blood being called on.
Because, like, the problem is that during, if the time frame, right, from the limited knowledge that Katarina has been taught, diablerie wasn't really a sanctioned thing during that time. Wasn't really something that you could get permission to do.
There are very few instances in a Camarilla setting, anyway, of getting a sanctioned. Blood hunt is one thing, right? Killing another vampire is one thing that can get sanctioned. It did get sanctioned, but diablerie is something different.
Oh yeah.
In the blink of an eye, the flash of silver is in the air. The elegantly curved blade appears, and everything inside Sin goes quiet. And that is where I'll leave our tale for the evening. So thank you so much for joining us on this Vampiric Vignette. We greatly appreciate all of our cast for participating, and we'll see what happens perhaps next time. Let us know if you're interested in more of these tales, and we'll see what we can do to sate your thirst. Thank you, and good night.